All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm gonna start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, the Most High, our Creator and our Power, who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord, our Savior, and our Deliverer, the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. Call Halamla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekha Kodash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, and salutations, peace, blessings, and safety be unto the hopeful elect out there. This lesson is pretty much in response to Elder Apostle Tahar's video as he was reacting to this guy, Captain Tazariak, man. And his, I don't really know what to call it, but pretty much Captain Tazariak was having people call in, which, that may or may not have been real as far as the actual callers. It could have been set up, or it could have been legit callers coming, asking real questions, or who knows. But regardless, um these false prophets, their mouths must be stopped, man. All of this confusion and circumlocution, and just bringing Jake, or leading Jake in circles. You're not giving Jake direct answers, right? The scriptures tell you, man. The scriptures, I'm gonna just quote it, I'm not gonna grab it, but the scriptures tell you, let your words be few, comprehending much. Okay. The scriptures tell you to let your words be few, comprehending much, because the foolish, right? You consider the fool when you babble, when you speak too much, especially if you're not getting any understanding. There's no understanding coming across, and that's what a lot of these guys, in particular Captain Tazariak, does. All right, and I'm speaking about that particular situation with the callers calling in, and they asking very direct, straightforward, plain questions. And this guy, he has to go all over the place and end up at a dead end. Still no understanding, still no direct answer. When somebody asks, and you call yourself, you call yourself a prophet, you're supposed to be a true prophet. If you're a true prophet, you're going to give the proper understanding. The scriptures tell you to make these things plain upon tables. Talking about the prophecies, the scriptures. When you teaching the scriptures, you're supposed to make it plain in a way that those who you explaining it to, whoever listening to you, can understand it. Okay, that's what it means to rightly divide the word of truth. Okay, that's what it means to rightly divide the word of truth. You're supposed to be able to give the proper understanding, man. But it's a lot of and it's the spirit, man. Apostle Tahar, he just coined early. He just coined the year 2026, the year of apostates, and the year of agents, man. The year of um apostates and sellouts, man, agents. And it's the spirit, because yesterday I just had a random thought, just meditating, and I was like, just thinking to myself, I wonder what Apostle Tahar is going to coin the new year. And the thought that came to my mind is, what if it's the year of false prophets? And lo and behold, the apostle, he coined the new year, the year of apostates, sellouts, and agents, which the false prophets are. Okay, so it was the spirit. It was along the same lines. Me having that thought. But a lot of these false prophets, it's one or two things, man. You either sold out, and you took some kind of payment, some form of payment, so you can distort the truth, and you can cause confusion and mislead Israel, the true Israelites, or you really blinded and you actually are ignorant to the truth, and you think that the things that you're teaching is the truth, but you're just deceived. Either way it go, it's something that needs to stop, man. And I truly believe that the Lord is about to start revealing a lot of false prophets, more so than has already been revealed, revealing a lot of people that are crept in unawares, man, as the scriptures tell you, brethren crept in unawares, which are not real brothers. Okay, people that was sent out on a mission to cause confusion, to mislead and misinform the Israelites, and to throw how do you say it? You know, to pretty much to tank the message, man, that we have, the true prophets, the message that we have, to tank that message. Okay. And that's what an agent's job is, man. Cause confusion. But as I was listening to the apostle's video, you know, he was just responding to, you know, the discourse that Captain Tazariak was having with whoever was calling in. And you know, it was a lot of ad hominem attacks and you know, slander. And those things have to be answered for, man, because for one, it's bearing false witness. As Captain Tazariak called Apostle Tahar, he called him a rapist, you know, he called him a piece of shit. And, you know, he just was getting mad because one of the callers was like, he asked what the MOTB was. Tazariak gave his bullshit explanation, you know, going in 10 different circles, you know, all over the place. And the dude who called in, he was like, you know, hey, well, I still believe, you know, Captain Tazariak cut him off and was like, you know, hey, well, if you want to believe, if you want to believe, if you want to believe that, then that's cool. You know, that's your rapist apostle. That ain't my apostle. He's a piece of shit. You know, so things like that have to be answered for, man. I'm gonna start off with the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 10. It says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake." And it's levels to that persecution, man. Just that right there is a form of persecution, being evil spoken of, especially falsely, you know, which that's the only way to be evil spoken of. Because if there's no truth to what you're saying, that's evil. Okay. You know, it's been years, man. The apostles and brothers, affiliates who teach the correct doctrine according to the scriptures have been slandered, have been uh, falsely bear witness on, have been lied on, and put in this category, this false category, man. You know, brothers ain't never seized no woman and forcefully taken no box from no woman, man. Okay. So like I'm just getting these people off the comment board. Anyway, like I was saying, man, you know, these things that brothers are, you know, apostles and brothers on down are being accused of is false. It never happened. There's no proof of those things happening. All right. And we do, and on top of that, we don't condone it, nor do we advocate for that type of behavior, man. We don't advocate or encourage anybody to go out and forcefully take box from a woman. You know, no, that's foolish. That's stupid. Nobody teaches that. And also, you know, with the whole marriageable age thing, you know, not only do they call us grapists, they call us PDF files and say that we like little girls, which is not true. You know, brothers is going out looking for 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 9, 10, 11-year-old girls, so on and so forth. And nobody doing that shit. Okay. Anybody that is doing that is either not a part of Great Millstone, or, you know, eventually they will be found out and dealt with if they are doing that type of shit. Okay. But you know, that's a form of persecution, being lied on, being slandered for the things that you teach, man. Again, it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake," and that persecution is gonna escalate as we get closer to the end. In the sense of a lot of people, through whether it be the narrative of Esau or whether it be the narrative of our own fellow Israelites, niggas that have been paid off or persuaded in some kind of way to you know play devil's advocate, to be a partner with the enemy. They're gonna play a role in our persecution, and they're gonna, you know, speak things that's to the detriment of our image, and it's gonna cause us to be more hated, as more than we already are. But that's all a part of it. It's more of a sign, a signet of who has the truth, who's the real prophets, man. All right, it's gonna get to the point to where people want to lay hands on us. They want to get physical, and they want to, you know, take us off the earth. All right, there's no new thing under the sun, though. That already happened, and it's gonna happen again. And for some of us, it says, "For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely, for for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Okay. And like that's why it's just in the beginning it said, man, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. It's one thing to be persecuted or punished for something that you actually did, some wrong that you committed. But it's a different thing when you persecuted for something that you never did, right? It's a good thing to suffer wrongfully. Okay, it's looked at as an honorable thing in the eyes of the Lord for us to suffer wrongfully for something that we didn't do or something that we're not guilty of. So, if it's ever anything that's said against these other camps by Great Millstone, it's truth to it. It's nothing personal. It's nothing, that we have a personal art with you about. It's all based on us defending the gospel, us standing up for what's true. And if that's our job, it's a punishment for us if we don't do what we're doing. If we don't sit up there and when some lies and some BS doctrine um is being spoken, if we don't stand up and say, no, 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 that's false, don't listen to that, this is the truth, this is what they said, and this is the truth of what they said. If we don't do that, it's woe unto us, because we know the truth. We see lies being taught, we see confusion being cast. And if we don't stand in or stand up and be that, the one to clarify, the one to set that standard, then it's going to be on us, because we seen it, we didn't do anything. Like the saying goes, you see something, say something. That's our job as watchmen. Okay. If you see something, say something. As a watchman, if you're standing on the tower, you see danger approaching from whatever distance and to whatever magnitude, right? You see danger, you see some kind of threat coming to the people that you have watch over. If you don't say anything, whatever happens, whatever kind of consequences or whatever kind of injuries or any kind of harm that comes and prospers against your people, that's on you, because you didn't say nothing. Okay. So like I said, man, that's what they did to the prophets that was before us, and Lord willing, we are those prophets. So like, all right, so this guy, Captain Tazariak, man, him slandering the Apostle Tahar like that, which is it's nothing new. They've been doing it, but it's always they say it from a point of they say it. This is what I perceive. They say it from a point of disdain. They say it from a point of they're disgusted. They have a real hatred, not only for Apostle Tahar and those of us who come and who's laboring in their works and teaching the doctrine that they taught us. Ultimately, the hatred is towards Yahweh Shem Yahushua in truth. Okay, it's like they absolutely can't stand the thought of Apostle Tahar and this doctrine that we teach, from Bishop Nate to General Yohana and his affiliates, and Captain Tazariak, all of them, man. They have this hatred towards GMS, and that hatred is contagious, because a lot of people who don't even know what's going on, looking from the outside in, they don't really even understand what this is a part of. They don't understand the contention or the disagreement that we have with these other camps. They just see so-called camp banging, or they see, or they just can't get along and this and that. They don't understand why. Okay, the whole basis of it is they're teaching false doctrine. They're teaching things that are misleading our people, and that's not true. We have to be the ones to stand up for the truth. That's all it is. Okay. All right. So from there, I'm gonna go to Romans. So like I'm gonna go to Romans chapter 8 and verse 33. Who shall lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? Meaning what? Who is going to accuse the Lord's elect? And we don't know who the elect is, but our hope and our faith is to, Lord willing, be of the elect. So we, to the best of our abilities, we're doing things that the elect would do. The scripture says, put on therefore as the elect of the Most High, which means to clothe yourself, to cover yourself, to pretty much do the things that the elect will be doing, and eventually, Lord willing, we will, you know, um, be found worthy, man. But just as, hey, you're gonna know a man by his fruits, right? If somebody is a piece of shit, they're a thief, they're a liar, they have no integrity, they steal from people every chance they get, they committing adultery, they plotting, they're a murderer, so on and so forth. That person is probably of the 2/3. Okay, now that's not saying we're gonna get um ahead of ourselves and say, oh yeah, we doing things that the elect will do, so we of the elect. No, it's always Lord willing. It's always that hope and that you know that desire to have mercy, man. So we can endure until the end. Okay, but to the best of our ability, we're doing the things that the elect will do. So when we see these dudes doing what they doing, acting how they acting, right? Their conduct shows what they are. Okay, but like I said, who shall lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? It is the Most High that justifieth. So no matter what you say or how you see things, it's all about the Lord's perspective. It can, everything that we do or everything that we say can look like straight up folly. It can look like straight up foolishness, vanity, and people may think that we wasted our time and that we just got everything wrong. But in the end, we will see who the Lord is dealing with. In the end, even before the end, which is the day of destruction that I'm speaking of. So like, during the time of Jacob's trouble, the Lord is going to be showing who he's dealing with and who he's not dealing with. All right. A lot of these dudes that's been misleading the Lord, especially these so-called prophets, the one that has a congregation, they have a following. The Lord is going to show them that they're wrong, whether they know they're doing wrong or whether, again, like you got some that know that they wrong and they just don't have fear of the Lord, or you have those that are genuinely ignorant and that have been deceived. They haven't been chosen to be a prophet of the Lord, and they're teaching falsely. The Lord is going to show all of them that he's not dealing with them. He has not sent them or set them up. Okay. And these guys that's coming up against us, saying all of the manner of things that they're saying, they're going to be stopped. Their mouths are going to be stopped. They're going to be shut up. Okay. Because they're trying to condemn the true men of the Lord, but you can't condemn the men of the Lord, man. All right. Verse 34. Who is he that condemneth? It is Hamashiach that died, yea, rather that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of the Most High, who also maketh intercession for us. All right, so if like that dude said, that Edomite, if this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, you cannot overthrow it. As much as they hate the doctrine of Great Millstone, they have such disdain, such disgust when they think about us, beginning with the apostles on down. You just can't do nothing about it, man. Okay, you hate the truth, you hate the genuine, because you're not genuine. You don't have the truth. So two and two are one against another. Good, the good is always going to hate the evil, and the evil is always going to hate the good. That's just how it go. But you're not going to be able to condemn, as much as you may try to write off the apostles and the things that they teach, as much as you might try to pretty much put us in the corner and want everybody else to forget about us and focus on you. It's not going to happen, man. The truth is always going to prevail every time. Proverbs 26 and 28. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. And that's what their mouths are doing. They're speaking flattery. They're trimming their way to seek love. They're speaking things that sound good. Things, Jake is simple. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Israelites are very simple. Our people are very freaking simple, man. And a lot of times they just believe the thing that sound good. A nigga might talk real good, might have a gift of gab. He might speak in a way that makes him sound very intelligent, speaking in this real grandiose way, like Bishop Nate. He may have that personality type of voice, but there's no real edification. It sound good, it make you feel good, so you think it's bringing you edification. You think he's teaching you something, but he's really misleading you. He's really taking away from your understanding rather than adding to it. And that's a lot of these camps, man. They speak in a way that appeals to people, a particular audience, but what they're teaching is being altered for that very reason, because it's to appeal to that specific audience. It's not being given in a raw, uncut, unaltered way. Okay, you gotta avoid these corner cutting ass niggas, man, because that's what they are. They're not giving this truth, purely, man. There's always some kind of alternate agenda, ulterior motive behind what they teach. All right, this is the book of Give me a second. I'm gonna go to Jeremiah 23. I'm gonna start at the top and read down. It says, "Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture," saith the Lord Yahweh. Okay, and Yahweh Shah said it best, and it's plain as day. He that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. By the things that you teach, you're either going to gather Israel, right? And it has to be in truth. There's no in between. There's no such thing as half truth. There's no such thing as mostly truth. It's either full truth or it's a lie, all right, or false. Okay. But a lot of these jakes, what they teach, they're scattering Israel. They're misleading them, leading them to the slaughter. Because if you somebody if a jake asks you a question, right? For those who don't, Salaki, my phone overheated. As I was saying, Jake, when you hear brothers say Jake, it's just short for Jacob, or just talking about Israelites. But going back to Jeremiah 23, right? I'm gonna read it again. It says, "Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture," saith the Lord, right? Because you're supposed to be in that position as a shepherd, as a watchman, as a pastor, a teacher, a prophet. You're supposed to be gathering Israel, as Yahweh Shah said, "He that scattereth, or excuse me, he that gathereth not with me, scattereth abroad." So if you're teaching false doctrine, if you misleading the people and teaching them things that's false, and disrupting their understanding, you causing more confusion than our people already had, because we coming out of confusion. You're supposed to be clearing up that confusion through the truth, taking that bondage that of the mind, those strongholds. You're supposed to be breaking up Jake out of that stronghold and those different beliefs and ideologies that we was following, pulling them out of that. But you causing more confusion and further misleading our people than they already were, man. All right, verse 2. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, right? And real quick, it said the Lord Yahweh, the God of Israel, okay, not the God of all nations or all people. No, Yahweh is the God of Israel. All right, just wanted to say that. All right, but it's ye have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not visited them. Yeah, you just pretty much you left Jake hanging, man. You left them out there. Um, you left them out there to dry, without any guidance, without any protection, because you don't really care about them. All right. It says, and driven them away and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them. Okay, which is the food that's convenient for them. Okay, the truth, the food that's gonna, be profitable unto them, man. That which is convenient for them. Okay, it says, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord Yahweh. Okay, but with these guys, man, this food that they feeding them is inconvenient food. It's food that they shouldn't be feeding the sheep. It's not real nutrients. It's actually harmful. Deuteronomy 18 and verse 18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. And this is talking about those prophets that set up, right? That the Lord actually did send. Those who come across those prophets, hear them, um, they may even stop by and listen to what the prophets are saying, and they don't receive that message. They don't accept it, and they don't take heed to that message. And the Lord is going to require it of you. There's a punishment for you. All of these people that have walked past the camps, drove past, uh, came across prophets on the internet, and then they didn't see any value in the message, or they didn't believe it. The ones that scoff and talk shit and mock. There go them Hebrew Israelites again. Oh, I can't stand them. Why don't y'all shut up? Why don't y'all get a job, get a life? The Lord is going to require that of you. All right, as well as those other prophets that claim to have the truth, but then they deflect, and all they can do is slander and keep on speaking that same madness. Oh, they grapists and they PDF files and they this and they that. With no proof, by the way. But it says verse 19 or verse 20. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. So there's the reward for a false prophet is death, especially if you coming in the name of the Lord and you speaking falsehood. Okay, you saying things or claiming that the Lord gave you an epiphany or some kind of revelation, and then you speaking these false things, and even telling Jake or call yourself speaking prophecy that it's never going to come to pass. The Lord is going to punish you, man. The Lord is going to kill a lot of false prophets. A lot of these niggas that claim to be prophets, they're going to die because the Lord ain't set them up. He didn't send them, and they're causing more damage and more harm to the Lord's people, who He cares for very dearly, man. It says, verse 21. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord Yahweh have not spoken? Right? If the question is asked, like, how do we know who is a false prophet? How do we know that it's somebody that the Lord didn't send or that the Lord didn't set up? Okay, which you have to have discernment and you have to have the eyes to see and ears to hear. Verse 21, 22. When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord Yahweh, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord Yahweh have not spoken. But the prophet have spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him. And the reason the prophets were feared in the days of old is because when those prophets spoke, they did not speak according to their own will, according to their own opinion, according to their own mind. The holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit, as they were inspired. The Lord put the words in the mouths of the true prophets. Prophets are merely a mouthpiece, a vessel that the Lord uses to speak to Israel. And it's a scary, it's a blessed, and it's a beautiful position and a beautiful office, but it's a scary office, because if you mishandle this office, there's a great punishment for it. That's why it's not surprising, but it's scary when you see these dudes saying the shit that they be saying, man, with no fear. Okay. And like I said, if that thing follow not, nor come to pass. So a lot of these, Captain Tazariak, Bishop Nate, General Yohana, so on and so forth, all of them collectively, when the things that they're saying is gonna happen don't happen, as well as the things that they say is not gonna happen, when they do happen, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna do? You sitting up there and you telling Jake, you telling Israel that the MOTB is not the RFID microchip, which it is. When that time comes, which it will come, that the Lord put the spirit on Esau to make the MOTB mandatory, right? The RFID microchip mandatory. And there's a punishment for those who don't take it, including death, because the scriptures say it, that there's going to be those who are beheaded for refusing to take the MOTB. Excuse me. What you gonna do? You gonna take it? And I already said this, man, but may Yahweh Bashim Yahushua put a spirit of vengeance on those who they deceive, right? The people that ask, well, what is the MOTB? And then these false prophets, they tell Jake, they respond to Jake and tell them that it's anything other than what it is. When they actually go get the MOTB, and then they find out that it really is the mark of the beast, when they go get the RFID microchip, and then they find out later that the MOTB is the RFID microchip, may the Lord put a spirit of vengeance and wrath on them to come visit these false prophets, man. Because a lot of people are going to be asking you questions, and you're going to have to answer for it when that day comes. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of blood on your hands. All right. But let me get a couple more. Let me get Ezekiel. I'm gonna get Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17. Yeah, I'm gonna read down. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. All right, so it's a commandment. All right. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, right? Because the Lord speaks through the prophets. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. So if the Lord give you the commandment to give the warning, to sound the alarm, and you don't, and then that those evils come, those perils come, those dangers come, and it overtakes Israel, certain of Israel, that's going to be on you, because you didn't do what you was called to do. All right. It says, yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from the wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. So just as it's a punishment for not doing it, there's a reward for doing it. And that's what we want to do. We want the blood to be off of our hands, and we want to be blameless. When this thing really get to cracking, man, and the Lord start really visiting the earth and pouring out judgment in the earth, we want to ourselves be exempt from that judgment and safe from it. But we also want to be able to say that we said, we gave the warning, we did what we were supposed to do. They didn't listen, so that's on them. Okay. Verse 20, again, when the righteous man doth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die, because thou hast not given him warning, he shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he have done shall not be remembered. But his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn a righteous man, that the righteous man sin not, and he doth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned. Also, thou hast delivered thy soul. Okay, and it's just saying the same thing, man. It's a duty. Okay, I'm gonna end off with this. Titus chapter 1 and verse 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision. And that's gonna start being revealed more and more, man. Those who were set up, who took the bag, who's compromised, and who don't have the best interests of Israel, man. The Lord is gonna start really making that separation, even more. Verse 11, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they are not, for filthy lucre's sake. Okay, and you know your riches is gonna deteriorate. It's gonna be eaten up, and none of that. You're gonna be ashamed, man, because you're gonna realize that shit wasn't worth it. All right, but Lord willing, I pray this lesson was edifying, and with that, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rechak and double honors unto the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace, blessings, and safety to the hopeful elect. And DTA Abba Ball, Kwame Ashala. Till next time, Shalom.